Welcome to the Lifestyle Chase. This podcast features high performers who have found a way to live their best life while balancing their health, wellness, friends, and family. Proudly hosted by me, Chris Little. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, welcome everybody to episode 12 of the Lifestyle Chase. We're changing the game today. This is the first time I've recorded a podcast on a Friday evening. So I'm here tonight with Kristina Botelho. I said your last name right?
You did. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Thank
good job.
goodness. Known to a few people as the "Hey, it's me, KB" lady from Instagram. I want to say I'm honored that you're taking time for me to be on my podcast. I know how busy you are. I also want to acknowledge how much I appreciated your support and sponsorship of my goal-crushing event this past July. That was awesome. So, you were nominated to be on my podcast by my friend Kelsey, who went above and beyond for me when she hosted episode 11. So I'm trying to schedule as many of her nominations as possible. She had some top-notch suggestions. When it comes down to it though, you were always one of the Edmontonians that I felt fit the brand for the Lifestyle Chase. So I'm really glad it worked out and that we are here today. How was your day today?
My day was amazing today. It was a good day. Yeah.
That's good. What does a typical day in your life look like?
A typical day. All right. You ready for it?
I'm ready.
I'm up at 4:30 a.m. I grab coffee. I sit at the kitchen, the island here. I journal. I set my intention for the day. I read anything, grab a book and read a chapter. I commit to reading a chapter of any book a day. Maybe listen to a podcast. Just a lot of self-improvement work in the morning. Sort of set the intention for the day. Then I leave here around 5:30. I head to the gym. I'm there for about an hour and a bit. And then I head home. Get the kids ready for school. One of three. The other two are a bit older. They don't need my hand-holding as much. And then I spend a few hours doing sort of the back end of things with the store, with the business, both stores now. So it's a few hours of paperwork, and then I head to the store, and I try really hard to be productive. Extremely hard. Every morning I say I'm going to be super productive today, and I'm going to manage my time effectively. And I as I reflect in the evening, I don't do a very good job at managing it sometimes. But I go, I work. I'm very hands-on in the store when I am there, so I do what everybody else does. In terms of working, sweeping, mopping, dishes, food making, shoot a few Instagram videos.
Just a few,
do it. Just a few. Do it for the people, and and then I'm giving you a very detailed day, but I come home try to be home for around supper, just after, and it's almost always, embarrassing as it sounds, it's almost always cereal night here. So cereal night or pancake night, and feed the kids, try to settle down, do a little bit more work, or maybe hit up a cardio class or a spin class, and then unwind around 9:30, 10. So it's a long day.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I just threw a lot.
But it sounds productive, and I like the idea of setting the intentions for the day. There's been a lot of guests that kind of do the same thing, and it seems to work.
Yeah.
So it's a habit that people should pick up.
I think so.
So I want you to just describe your skydiving experience, because I did a quick Google search and I found the video. It was
you did?
Freaking awesome.
Oh, is that with the swear words and all?
I didn't have the audio on, so you're safe.
Oh, all right. Awesome.
So I want you to describe the experience in a few short statements, from before you got into the plane, to the ascent into the air, all the way to the landing. What emotions were going through your head?
Oh, boy. Okay, well, it's nerve-wracking. So from really excited, from the idea of wanting to do it, to feeling really excited and motivated, to feeling like, no, why would I do this? I have children. Why would I? Do they really need me? To being excited about it, to you only live once, if you don't die. Just it was a lot of ups and downs, and then leading up to the day, a lot of ups and downs. Driving out there, being excited to 5 minutes or 10 minutes later, no, I should just turn around, not do it. There was a lot of nervousness walking over to the plane, getting into the plane, Getting up to the sky, I think we were at 12,000 feet. Super nervous when the door opened, panic mode. But when you jump, it is the most amazing experience. Have you jumped?
I've done bungee jumping.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that seems scary. No. And do you want to skydive?
At one point, I probably will, but I'm going to have so much hesitation.
Really? What's the fear?
Dying.
Is it? Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I did Google if there were any deaths, but
yeah,
naturally. But no, I just felt compelled to do it for whatever reason. It was an amazing experience. I recommend everybody do it. When you're in, you have about, I think it was like a minute and a half in the sky where you're just free falling, and there's no noise, and it's just peacefulness. It was a great experience.
So, what statement got more pushback from family and friends? I am going to jump out of a plane, or I am going to open a local organic casual plant-based cafe in the capital of the city of Alberta.
Oh geez, surprisingly, the opening the plant-based cafe. So I kind of feel like nobody cared if I died. Kids are like, no, go do it. It'll be awesome. Definitely more pushback in opening the concept and wanting to do the concept, and actually a lot of pushback from my closest friends and family. And I want to say I don't feel like it was because they didn't believe in me, but I think they just felt like the odds were stacked against me being in Edmonton, being in Alberta. The market at the time was, and still is, pretty niche. So who's eating this kind of food? Definitely a lot of pushback for sure.
Totally.
On that side.
There's like so many factors where you can just talk yourself out of it, kind of thing. Just the same as skydiving. Like on any given day, I'm pretty confident that I could talk myself out of skydiving.
Yeah.
Because there's risk.
In everything. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Having done it, having accomplished this niche market in an area where people don't take kindly to things like vegan food, stuff like that. Like it's an oil industry province. Like, do you feel as fulfilled as you did after doing the skydiving? Like, would you say it's a adrenaline rush?
A similar experience, in doing it. And
how would you compare the two experiences?
Both very rewarding and fulfilling, for sure.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. It's good to hear.
Yeah.
You have a pretty rock solid mindset, I'd say, especially with like your morning meditation. Of all the cities where you could have kicked off KB & Co., you buckled down, committed, and set up shop in what might be one of the most challenging major markets. How do you stay motivated and move forward despite everything that pushes back? What are your strategies?
Positivity is the biggest thing. Positivity and passion were my biggest things, prior to it being where it is today, and then where it is today. And I know that's what's going to continue making it successful, is just being positive and remembering my why and my reason for doing it. So and that's part of what I do in the morning, is just I'm grateful for where it's at today. I remain positive. I mean, every day there are things that can knock you down and make you feel defeated and bummed out, but just being grateful that Edmonton supports it. And as much as Edmonton has given me, I want to give back 10 times. So thank you for supporting me, and I'm going to continue to show you that this is my passion, and that we take pride in what we do and how things are served and the menu items that we offer. It's definitely positivity. Yeah.
And like if you have a bad day, what are the tools in your toolbox to embrace positivity? Like, what are your ways to really just push that out?
I'm a big fan of podcasts and like the Tony Robbins and Joe Rogan, like pick me up, like you've got this kind of stuff. So if I ever feel defeated, and I have, a lot, I usually take a time out, 5-10 minutes, sort of a reset.
Yeah.
Sit by myself for a bit, reflect, and you have to there's a lot of, for me, there's a lot, sometimes I feel like I'm going crazy. There's a lot of like, you've got this, you're good, you've got this, to like freaking out, and then you just have to like, this is good and things could be worse, and throw perspective in there, and you're all you've got.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. And I'm, when I, if you've ever asked me like who my biggest motivator is, it's myself. I'm the only one that can get myself out of the trenches.
Yeah.
So just like a timeout, a reset, self-motivate yourself.
And I think that's so important for people to hear, because people see like owners of companies, they see presidents, they see top trainers, they see all these people that are like top of the pyramid kind of thing, and they think, oh, that person's untouchable. They never have a weak moment.
Oh,
They just assume.
Yeah.
So when they can listen to a podcast and think, oh, wow, like they're going through the same shit that everybody else goes through.
Absolutely. And, on that, I, recently, and we might get into that just with the new store opening and some of the challenges that faced, but there were I'm going to say there was a couple of weeks, for sure a full week, where I felt defeated and bummed out. And I won't maybe go as far as feeling depressed, but moments throughout the day where you feel like, what the F am I doing? And, so much uncomfortable change where you're freaking out. And there were days where I would pull up to the store, like driving from here to the store, which is like 10 minutes, just sobbing because I have emotions too, to, pull up at the store. Okay, I've got this, I'm good, like all is good. And you walk into the store, and you can't walk in there as a leader and break down. I always am really good at communicating how I feel, on sort of everything. I'm a very transparent person, so the staff will know that, yeah, I'm feeling the pressure as much as they are, with all of these changes and all of this discomfort that's going on. There were a lot of conversations about that, but I have to go in there and motivate now my team and be strong for my team. So optics, it looks as though all is good. Staff might think I'm like, she's happy, she's good. The public might think all is good, everything's good, but there are moments of weakness and there are moments of despair or breakdown.
Yeah.
It's normal. Like,
it's important to do that, because it empowers like your team to be able to like be there to support whatever emotion you're feeling, and to just support you in general. Like if somebody's always putting on like this false exterior, showing like this perfect life and everything is hunky-dory,
yeah,
nobody can really support them, nobody can empathize with them.
It's hard to relate to, right?
Yeah.
If
So
no,
just
I
being
agree.
human, being yourself will get you way, way further. And so it's good to hear that that's what you believe as well.
Yeah.
So I was looking at some of the food reviews, and it really sucked to see how blunt people can be sometimes. Like there was tons of 5-star, but there are a lot of factors that are out of your control, and it's a tough world, and people can be harsh. When it comes to business reviews, and how do you handle it when someone takes a stab at your passion project?
I mean, honestly, can I tell you? So I remember their name and I track them down. I knock on their door. No, I'm not gonna lie. It took a while not to take it personally. I still take it personally, but it doesn't linger for as long. So when I read it, and I go on there every couple of days and I read it, and in the past, in the beginning, I would sit on it for 3 or 4 days. It was ridiculous. And I mean, just like outbursts throughout the day, like that, really? Like,
Yeah.
are you kidding? And then 6 hours later, are you kidding? So took it personal because it's my name and it's my brand. So I've been involved in previous restaurant endeavors where I've bought into franchises, not my concept, not my brand. If somebody had a problem, they just call 1-800 and they deal with it. It's kind of not my problem. In this case, it falls on me. I took it personal. I still take it personal. I just don't hold on to it as long. For now, it's probably about a day, and I look at it as constructive feedback. You have to, and it's an opportunity for us to correct, to to some degree, obviously, if there was something that was done wrong or it was negative, it's just an opportunity for me to retrain my staff. So thank you, I guess, because if we didn't know, we wouldn't be able to better ourselves.
Totally.
So thank you. I guess it's all perspective, I guess.
I have to say, do you know Vance Bosch from Central at all?
I do, yeah.
Okay, you should see the Central reviews, because that guy has his armor on. He has got his best foot forward every time. Like,
wow.
Look at the reviews, and he does his very, very best to correct them all. He'll do like chef's table. He'll do everything that he can.
Oh, good for him.
To
That's
right every
great.
wrong.
Yeah.
And he actually had a status on his Facebook that just went viral on like customer reviews, and like how you can give a positive review, and that's great, but if you have something negative, like maybe just take it up directly with the people who can inflict change.
Yeah.
And don't attack like a local business that lives off of those reviews,
The reviews,
kind of thing.
yeah. I would agree with
What
that.
was really heartwarming to see was, despite some reviews that like I saw, I was like, oh, I don't know what the logic on that. Like when I was looking at the KB and Co stuff, I was like, okay, all right, each their own.
And I think for those types of reviews, I think you have to believe that there are other people that will feel that same way.
Yeah.
Normal-minded people, but what is normal? I don't know. But when I read it, I think, well, it was a cookie. It was a freaking cookie. And anyways, hopefully other people see it that way as well. But
well, the best thing that I saw was how many people like suited up and went to bat for you. They were like, actually, this place is great.
Yeah.
And just tons of good reviews. And
Yeah.
obviously, like I think you won for Yeg Fitness last year. I'm sure you've had plenty of other accolades. I saw tons of articles featuring KB and Co.
Yeah.
So you got plenty of feathers in your hat. So I guess you can't really be held back by some raw cookies.
Right. Oh, so we're talking about the same review. So clearly I haven't let it go because it's a year and a half later. And we're still talking about that damn cookie. But
we did.
It was the first time ever I didn't rectify it. It was the first time in any of my in 20 years of restaurant business. You know what? It's how we bake them. It's how we make them. And it bit me in the ass. And I thought, in the long run, I mean, it was my cost. It's nothing, right? Anyway,
well.
Let it go, Kristina.
Yeah, lesson learned. Everybody learns lessons.
Yeah, this is
So
true.
we dove right into KB and Co. But tell our listeners what your life was like in the years leading up to KB and Co. What life and work experience would you say attributes the most to your success today?
Oh boy. Well, as I mentioned, as I age myself, I feel like I'm aging myself by saying I have close to 20 years of restaurant experience, but that definitely helps. It's 20 years of quick serve experience. So I've and multi-unit, managing experience. So I feel like that. But it's funny because I remember going through all of these, endeavors or in and out of restaurant, and at the time wondering why am I doing this and what is this prepping me for? And here we are today, and now all of it makes sense, which is how it usually works, right? In hindsight. But I think just in work experience, having been in the restaurant industry for so long, and managing multiple businesses, and then I think personally, I've done a lot of self work. I have a certificate to teach meditation, and I have my level 2 in Reiki, so I've done a lot of the sort of like healing, meditation, self-improvement work, which I think is transferable over into managing people and I guess, customer service, that kind of thing. So I think all of it just leads to where I am today. Did I answer that question? Yeah.
That's awesome. And I think especially with like your morning mindfulness, like not everybody has that meditation skill set.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I think about that, and like maybe if I got better at that, I'd be a little more focused and just have an edge on confidence when going and taking risks and like trying new things, because that's what I've found life to be all about. Sometimes you have to reinvent the wheel, and then you have to reinvent the wheel again, just to keep rolling forward.
For
kind
sure.
of thing.
Yeah. No, so true.
When it comes to business, what is the toughest business decision you have ever had to make?
One is the toughest. I'm gonna go with, and it's bittersweet. Don't get me wrong, I'm really happy that we opened our second location in Windermere, the Currents of Windermere, and I have amazing operators for that store. Amazing human beings, like they are golden. But expanding was the toughest business decision that I've had to make for a few reasons. Like naturally, I'm a bit of a control freak, so expanding and knowing that I'm not going to be there to make sure that every guest is greeted and their food looks great and we've said goodbye and we've asked them how their food was and the store looks good and the windows are Windexed and the floors are clean. Like that was I had to really learn to let go. It was really tough. It's what I wanted. It's what I saw going into it. I always envisioned bigger picture, but I wasn't going to be heartbroken, if the opportunity didn't happen. But I think that was, like I said, it was bittersweet. I'm glad we did it. No regrets, but it was tough, for sure. Just to let go.
Well, it's your baby.
Yeah.
And you have to let it kind of fly and be on its own.
I was there for a few weeks. I'm like, you sure you want me to leave? I can stay. I can help you. And he's like, no, we've got it. We're good. I'm like, I'll be back tomorrow. And I go there now and I check all the food and they're doing, again, there's no issues. I haven't been there and like, oh, this is wrong or this, everything's being run perfectly. But it's really hard to let go when you feel like you got it to a certain state, you just,
but that
you
just
don't wanna,
speaks to your passion for the business, which will probably be a fuel for going forward kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like if you really believe in something, it's going to be successful.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if we're selling like toenail clippers on White Ave. Like if I believe in toenail clippers, I'm going to be the best.
Super enthusiastic and passionate about it. I mean, yeah, it's
gonna make it happen.
I would buy a pair. Let me see your sales pitch.
Yeah, totally. So life throws obstacles at us that can alter outcomes or take away from our focus and drive. I think we all tend to visualize a yellow brick road that we just follow, thinking to ourselves that if we go to bed early and eat our broccoli, everything will go well. Then boom, we get caught off guard and a dragon jumps out of the bush, burns the living crap out of our yellow brick road. It makes us figure out our shit really fast. What was your dragon? And how did you continue to pave your path going forward?
Okay, I'm gonna go back to so I don't know if I've had. Oh, I guess we could, maybe even. There's been a lot of personal experiences, but business wise, and I guess sort of personal too, would have been the transition of me leaving 104 and heading over to Windermere. So leading up to opening Windermere, everybody's excited. My team is excited. I've got some of the Windermere team in the store. Rah. We're just happy as hell. We've got enough staff and some. We don't need any more. I've got not only enough staff, but experienced, great, amazing staff. Life is good. Life is great. And so we're leading up to the opening. I leave the store and I'm there prior to opening for about 2 weeks and then into opening for 2 weeks. So I'm out of the store for a month. Just before we opened, I should say about maybe 2-3 weeks before we opened, I hired a manager. Very last minute, and I explained, you're gonna come in here. She had experience. You're gonna come in here and you're gonna manage a store. You're kind of essentially gonna be thrown to the wolves in terms of like figuring stuff out. So now we have a new manager who's an external hire. Now the family's being broken apart, and I'm, despite what they say on Instagram, I am the comedian and I am the glue of this family. Mark, you've heard it here. So I am out of the store. New manager, staff aren't as happy. It's not as fun. The culture's changed. I've done everything I can outside of the hours I'm working at Windermere to talk to and communicate with my manager and just make sure that there's she's an amazing manager. She's got a different style than myself. She's a little more organized and structured. I'm organized in my own way, and I'm more feely about things like, you want a day off? No big deal. Whereas she's got forms for your days off. And that's great. We need that. But I'm just a little less rigid about that kind of stuff. So to sum it up, 2 weeks in or a week in, I'm at Windermere. One person quits, then another person quits. And these are experienced and long-term staff. So one leaves because Sally's leaving, and well, I don't really like it here either. And Sally, I'm really close to Sally, and I want to like leave because Sally's leaving. And then and so then you have like 4 people and experienced, strong people, including Marie. I'd say that, including Marie, who loves me, loves the store, but I'm not there anymore. And will I be back? If the goal is to grow this, will I now be out of the store? What happens to her? Like I felt like it was within one day. And I think there was one day where it was just one day. One day was great. I had everything under control. And then the next day I lost 3 very key, strong people. And the rest were struggling with my manager. And I was getting, Instagram messages that this smoothie was wrong. And I come here all the time. And it was like hell for me. It was like, what the F is going on? So I chose to take the high road and be super, super positive. So as much as I was pissed about everything that was, going on, I, driving to work, chose to like go in there and just be positive. Like, hey, I'm back. Everything's fine. We're going to get new staff. Things are going to be good again. We just have to be positive. We have to be optimistic. People will apply. People will come. We're going to put that out there. And slowly but surely it started to happen. So I feel like that was like, I guess, Dragon Lady, that was like a series of things that just like, my road it was burned up to shit. There was a lot of like, and I said to the team when I came back, I said, guys, yeah, we experienced some turbulence, but you guys aren't the only ones experiencing that. And I mean, I may have been a little bit aggressive with my, things like, get your shit together, right? Like, stop crying about me not being here one day or this day. Like, I'm experiencing it 10 times. So we're all in this together. Rather than jump ship, let's like pull together and make it great again. I like came in there and we had a staff meeting. I just gave them this big rah-rah speech, and they were all like, yeah, let's do it. It was like, all right, let's go. Marching down the street. Like, we've got this. It was actually a really cool experience because you have to, and as much as, like I said, as much as leading up to that, I'm feeling that way, but I know that, I'm not going to go in there and just like, what do we do, guys? Oh shit, hell's broke loose. Like, this is horrible. You have to move forward. Mm-hmm. And so it was hell for me.
But like, you prevailed, because had that gone in a different direction, like, the people make up the business.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you made it work.
Yeah.
Things pretty smooth sailing now. Like, both places are operating.
Yeah. We're actually back to where we were, and it's good. And I think if, we've got other locations on the horizon. So if I am removed from the store, we kind of have a strategy, and the staff know what to expect. Mm-hmm. So I guess it was, again, it's a learning experience, right, that we all had to go through. But there was a lot of whining. I guess, where I'm like, I can't win. And I'm at work and I'm listening to a bunch of whiny people, and I come home and I got kids and they whine, and it just like, they're amazing people though.
That's why you gotta have those podcasts, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Tune them out.
So I've seen you do a really good job balancing work and family. I think that's important, and it is a big part of this podcast. You just opened up your second location, as we were talking about, in Windermere, and from what I know, there's obviously going to be more locations in the future. How do you do all this successfully and still make time for your family and for yourself?
I think the getting up really early is a sacrifice for sure that you have to make. Most people might do it in the evenings or just before bed. That's not gonna, as soon as I hit the bed, it could be, if I went to bed at 8, I would be out in a second. So I'm not gonna sit there and read and try to have a bit of downtime. But I think that's a sacrifice that I have to make, and I'm used to it. I've been doing it for 15 years, so it's habitual for me. I just roll out of bed like 4:30. It's all good. I think that you have to I think the expectation of trying to balance it all every day or week to week is unrealistic. And that's what I learned. So I do the best I can in the hours of my day as opposed to the days of my week. So I've done I'm going to have date night with my youngest and date night with my oldest if you'll hang out with me. And trying to plan out what that balance looks like. I'm going to do a spin class on Friday and then for me, it doesn't work. I need to just I get up, this is my intention for the day. I am going to make time to sit with my daughter for an hour and without my phone and just ask her how her day is. I'm going to make time for my oldest, and I mean, he'll chintz me for a free meal any day. So if I have to go take him for dinner and it's a half an hour quick, I'll do it. So just, I work on a hour to hour. Then I feel like that works best.
Yeah.
For me.
It's kind of like blocking, creating that time so that it's there kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, knowing that, so if I come home, I'm home at 4:30 and I think, okay, there's dinner and I wouldn't mind, I'm feeling a little groggy or I could use a pick-me-up, I wouldn't mind hitting spin. I'll see what my son's doing for dinner, maybe spins after. Just, again, for me, sometimes it's hour to hour.
Yeah.
And just acknowledging them daily.
Yeah.
As opposed to you're good until Wednesday because we have date night on Wednesday. Just trying to make that, just do it daily.
Was there ever a time where work life just took over? Have you ever been absorbed by your work?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So with the opening of the store of 104, I worked open to close for the first 4 months straight. I didn't want to leave the store. I wanted to be there well before. And I still wanted my gym time. So I was at the gym for 5. So I had to get up a bit earlier to pack my stuff, and then I had to leave the gym for 6:30 and head to the store to open it for 7:38, and then be there until close. But you don't just close and leave. Especially in the beginning, there's a lot of things to figure out. So you're there until 9 or 10. I was there 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. for the first 4 months. I didn't hate it at all. I loved it. Because I loved it. I was so blessed that I could just my work was doing what I love. So for me, I'm being nourished with good food. So I never felt like I was burning out. I was still working out. I was still in the store. I remember at the 4-month mark, one of my employees said, "Hey, you should take a day off." I'm like, "I'm good. What do I need a day off?" She's like, "It's been 4 months." I'm like, "It sounds bad, but it's not that bad." I'm like, "I'm fine. I'm eating healthy. I'm working out. So during that time, my youngest, who was 9 at the time, I didn't see him all day. I didn't see him when he got up, and I didn't see him at night. So those are sacrifices that I had to make. You hope they turn out. You hope that it'll work out. I mean, you don't really know, but definitely the business has. I've sacrificed a lot of family time.
Yeah.
I think too, on the flip side, I think that in some ways you show them, what working hard for something that you really love or want looks like.
Yeah.
And you're kind of teaching them like that, or teaching them that in a way. I a few times would bring the kids, and I mandated my daughter to be at the store after school at 4 just to hang out. They hated it. My youngest was like, "Oh, we have to hang out at the store," and they fell asleep on the bench a few times. And I'd rather that than them being at home on technology. And even if I wasn't sitting there and reading with him or hanging out with him, he was around. Mm-hmm. None of them really liked to do a lot of work for me, so they just sat around and ate. But at least they were around and not pawned off on a babysitter or just hanging out. So I did that a lot.
And I can attest to the fact that is impactful. My parents, for most of my childhood, they were teachers. They've done a lot of other jobs. Okay. But I spent a lot of time in their classroom watching them do photocopying, seeing all the lesson plans, and lots of people think, "Oh, teachers, they have the whole summer off." But my mom would spend 2-3 weeks before the beginning of the school year getting all this stuff done, and it's just kind of taught me to embrace the suck.
Yeah.
for something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah. Oh,
And I
that
think
sounds-
it's helped with my work ethic. So I think your kids are going to learn the same
Yeah.
things, like pick up on those same traits, that work ethic, that just realizing like, hey, if we want something, we have to really push forward.
Yeah.
Or if we want to be competitive, this is how we win, kind of thing.
That's right. Yeah.
So I think what you're doing is probably going to pay off big
Yeah.
time, having
Wow.
been involved in all that stuff.
That's good to hear. Fingers crossed.
You don't even have to cross your fingers.
Yeah.
It'll work
Awesome.
out.
Awesome.
So thinking back to your skydiving experience, if you had to talk someone into skydiving with you, what would you say that would most likely convince them to do it too?
I would probably say, what have you got to lose? Besides your life, what have you got to lose? Oh geez, what would that's probably, I took one of my employees skydiving, and I asked a few of them, and I mean, surprisingly, they all wanted to go. They were all like, oh yeah, no, I'm in. So I didn't have to do a ton of convincing. I tried to, I guess I mentioned it to my oldest, told him that he has to go. And I don't even know what I would say, but I can be a bit salesy. Like, you have to go. It was an amazing experience. It's life-changing. It was a little life-changing. That's all I have. Other than what have you got to lose, but understandably so, it would be your life. Yeah.
But like, if I can speak to my experience of bungee jumping, like I'm a big chicken, the biggest chicken that ever balked.
Yeah.
Like, I went to Costa Rica with one of my best friends, and pretty much going into it, amongst all my friends, none of them would ever be able to convince me to go bungee jumping. But we were just in this moment. It was kind of like one of my Vision Quest trips. A lot of my trips to tropical places became like personal development trips for me.
Nice.
Like, we just learn new things about ourselves and like improve on our qualities and like be in our get out of our comfort zone, like for sure. Like, just to order food alone, that was a struggle for me.
Yeah.
In Costa Rica.
Oh, I bet.
I was
Yeah.
like trying to say like the numbers for a combo, and I messed that up. But I was hungry, so we made it happen. I just like, point frantically, be like, no
Food.
But somehow my friend, he talked me into doing the bungee jump, and like, honestly, he was stunned that he did it. And then he was like bragging in the group chat to all the other buddies, like, I actually convinced him to do it. He signed up, he paid money to do the bungee jump.
What did he say? I have to know. Was it just like a series
talk me into,
of...
I think it was just like a build-up. Like, this was at the time when I was working at my old job, and I was starting to feel like this sense of, like, I think there's more to me than working in a warehouse with no windows doing like forklift operation. I think I'm a little more personable than this forklift thing.
Sure.
And so I knew that I had to make like a metaphorical jump, and he was like, well, let's just start with the physical jump.
Yeah.
The kind where you go 20,000 feet down and go right back up,
Wow, yeah.
Little jump.
Yeah, just a small one.
And I was like,
no big deal.
I don't know about this. And there was all these things, I was talking myself out of it like crazy, and then I just learned to talk myself into it. Mm-hmm. And then I did it, and I survived. And of course, you'll never guess what I said when I jumped out. It was YOLO!
You did!
I did the thing, like, he's standing there taking the video, and like, some other guy's like, did that dude just say YOLO?
That's awesome.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And
That's
going
so
out of
great.
that experience, I realized, I talked myself into something that I didn't know what the outcome would be.
Yeah.
And I survived.
Totally.
And then a few months after that, I talked myself into leaving my job. And actually, like, when I left my full-time job with my mortgage and car payment and all this stuff, I didn't have a backup job.
Yeah.
It was just kind of unemployment Chris for a little bit, living off of true ride spin income. And I just kind of made it happen. Like, I started working for Central. I programmed a few clients real quick. I got the internship at L2, and I just built up, and survived.
Amazing.
And I wouldn't have been asked if I would do it any other way, and I was like, no, like, that felt rewarding.
Oh,
It's
totally.
never this feeling of safety.
Yeah.
Like, I always kind of feel like, something might go wrong,
Yeah.
but I feel fulfilled.
Yeah. Totally.
And so, yeah, like, you talk somebody into taking this risk, crossing your fingers that they don't
Yeah,
die.
yeah, for sure.
But it's such a metaphorical thing that, hey, you're taking a risk to sort of better yourself.
Yeah.
And then you get through that and you realize you can apply that to so many real life applications.
Absolutely.
Like it's a personal development hack.
Yeah.
Just kind of gets in their head and they're like, oh wait, I can apply myself.
That's right. If you can do this, just think about how much you could accomplish or do.
I can do something that other people are too scared to do.
That's right.
And come out the other end.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
So true.
So that's why I think it's such a good comparison.
Yeah.
Because your business is such an uphill battle.
Mm-hmm.
Like I tell people about your business and they're like, what? Like a cafe with vegan, just vegan, like no chicken, like no chicken.
I mean, they can bring their own if they need to, but yeah, no, yeah.
So it's a cool testament.
Yeah.
This time we'll reflect on your experience around chasing a dream that everyone says isn't feasible. What would you say to someone that will be most likely to light a fire under their ass? Like, how would you Tony Robbins the heck out of somebody?
Okay. I'm going to think about, so when I think of that, I think of what I was told when I was humming and hawing. And I was, KB & Co was in the works for about 4 years prior to, birth, I guess. And then 2 years where, 2 of the 4 I was working still full time, making good money. I just had to take that risk. I left my job at the worst time ever. Maybe that's a whole other podcast series, but it was where there was no monies coming in on my husband's side. He had just entered into the real estate game, commercial real estate, to boot. So 100% commission. And I just came home and was like, I quit to pursue my dreams. And so it was another 2 years until it happened. But that 2 years was the most influential, or the most, I guess, how do I say this? Like the most I've grown ever in my entire life. So it was a rough and rewarding 2 years. But in that 4 years and 2 years, 2 years leading up to it, my stepmom in Kelowna, I'd always tell her like, oh, I'd go from, one day to like, oh, maybe I can't do it, or like, it's not going to work. And maybe people are right. And then the next day, like, no, I'm going to do it, to being in the kitchen and testing out all of these recipes that are on the menu board and to failing some of them, and it all being shit, and letting the kids try it and the kids hate it. And then I feel defeated, and now I'm depressed and it's not going to happen, and so on. So she said to me once, she said, if you don't do it, somebody else will. She's a little bit hippie, and that's like, I love her to death. And she said, I have this feeling, or I have this theory that, and I also have this theory, but when she put it like that, it really rang home for me. She said, I have this theory that what we think, as we know, we create. What we think, we put out to the universe. And we put it out there, and we put it out there for other people to take it as well. And it kind of created this this competition, or like scarce. I was scared. Like, well, I don't want anybody to take my dream. Like, this is something that I know that I can, I know that if I can just get past all of these hurdles of monies and figuring that part out, if I'm just like, see myself in the store, I know I can do it. I know I can make it work. When she said it like that, you right away like, whoa, hell no.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna grab my dream from the universe and run with it. Yeah. So that's what I would say, because it was a switch for me. It was like, nobody wants that.
That's awesome.
So
like, you never think that something so simple could like ignite a person like that.
Yeah.
Because even if somebody told me that, I'd be like, whoa.
Yeah.
No, nobody else is gonna do Chris things. I just do
right.
That's
thing. Right. Yeah, and you kind of you get a little protective, right? And now I'm like, hey, no more thinking about it. Yeah. No more thinking about it and talking about it until you're ready to do it, so that nobody goes in there and steals it.
You're gonna steal it from the cloud.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, it was a little funny, but I believe in that kind of stuff, so I was all over it. I'm like, oh, you're right. Shit, I'm going to do it for sure. I swear. Oh,
Yeah, you totally
I've
can.
dropped a few S-bombs.
There's been swears in previous episodes, so I've just committed them all to an explicit rating.
Okay.
So we good.
Okay.
So you made it. You started from the bottom. Now you're here. How does it feel?
Started from the... no, I'm here. You're not going to play the song. Just
maybe
segue
I'll
over to the...
submit it in there.
I still feel... I feel really good. I feel supported. I feel supported and grateful, and I can't say it enough. I think about it all the time. I don't take anything for granted. Not my team, not the customers, not what we do, not the growth. None of it is taken for granted. So I feel honored and blessed that Edmonton has embraced it and supported it. I have never seen such community love and support. So I feel really good about that. But I have to say, I don't know if I can say like, oh, I've made it. Like I'm going to give myself, and we can all be really hard on ourselves, right? But I will always want better and bigger things for KB & Co. for the people.
Well, that's growth mindset. So
right.
It's not surprising.
Right. So I'll say, when we make something at the store, I'll say like, this is like a solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
And everybody loves it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I could do better. It could be better. It could always be better. And it's hard sometimes because you're in constant creative mode.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of why it's going to be successful. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to give up on it. And I don't think I have ever, when people say like, oh, it's amazing. I love this, the food and the atmosphere and the environment. I'm like, I know, like, it's great, but it could be better. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, I fear complacency. I fear just like, yeah, thanks, it's great, yeah. And then just never wanting to improve or make it better all the time. So some people say, like, been so successful. I'm like, thanks, but I'm not done. Yeah. I don't know.
Totally. Like, you see so many things that take off, and it was like, oh, when they first started, they had all these great qualities about them, but then they just kind of fell off the wagon and it stopped going. So if you're the leader and that's your mindset, other people are going to see that, they're going to adopt that. Like, your employees are going to feel the exact same way. They're going to always see opportunities for growth, and they're going to support each other.
Totally.
In that sense.
Yeah, totally. And I see that in the store when we make food, and I mean, we're pretty, it's our food is Instagrammable, right? And I just hate when people close the boxes. When they close the boxes of the salads, if you get a salad, we present it to you and we ask you, and for those who are listening and who've come, we bring it to you and we say, is this just there to go? And when you say it's to go, we have to close the box, and then you open it and the sauce is a mess and it just looks horrible. It's just not as pretty. And I'm like, are you sure you want this to go? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, well, but you want to take it like with the flaps open? You want to take it like that to go?
Maybe take the picture now and then close the box.
That's right. If you're going to tag me in that, don't tag me in like this big mess. But the fact that like that kind of stuff means a lot to me too, when, my baker will make something and she'll say, I think it's good. And I'll say, yeah, I think it's good. And then we both look at each other and we're like, but we could do better. and she'll say, yeah, we could do better. Hey, I'm like, we could for sure do better. And then that becomes like staff food that we've bombed, that we think is like a 7 out of 10. And everybody else on the floor is like, this is amazing, this banana bread. And we're like, it's not good enough. We want it to be the best it can be. So you're right, it has sort of trickled down, right, and amongst everybody. So that's pretty cool.
It's good.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do when Netflix gives your downtown staff their own TV series called Hey, It's Me, KB, and ironically leaves you off the cast until the last season? Kind of like How I Met Your Mother.
I mean, is that going to happen?
I bet it could.
I might remind them that I am the comedian of the show. So I would love that. I would fully support that. I'll find a way to get in there.
Good. So, all jokes aside, would you say the fun personalities of your team have helped the business? Is it something that you look for in the hiring process?
Yes, it absolutely has. However, they are all uniquely different. And I've actually never worked with such a diverse, different team than each other. And I think it's beautiful that people can be so different, but yet be so close, have different personalities. And I mean, there's a lot of girls, mostly women at 104. So arguments can get heated. We have our opinions and views on things, but we can argue in a healthy manner and like then hug it out.
Yeah.
After it's a really beautiful thing. But they all of them, you know, have a really good sense of humor and need to have a sense of humor. And I'm very open about that. If I interview, I have not a very structured interview process. I'm just like, do you get offended easily? That's what I need to know right away as the first question. And I mean, have you seen Marie? Have you met Marie? No, you try to get a feel for their personality, but everybody interviews differently too. So sometimes you don't always get what you thought you were going to get, and that's okay. Yeah. Sometimes it's not the right fit, but you have to have a good sense of humor.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to have people with different qualities, because some people's qualities, like you can have your impression of a person. Mm-hmm. A lot of people will meet me for the first time and just think I'm a very quiet to myself person. Mm-hmm. And then
that's what I thought.
Well, of course, like, I am a very quiet to myself person. Then you see like the other side of me, and I'm pretty outgoing, fairly like ambitious, creative. But nobody ever generally sees that in the first impression.
Yeah, for sure.
And so to put all these people together, you're bringing out some qualities that you wouldn't see otherwise. Like if you have someone that likes like improv shows.
Yeah.
And then you have someone else that likes sports, but they also like improv shows.
Right.
Those people connect, whereas otherwise that person would just be like the jock of the team.
Totally.
So that diversity is great.
Totally, I agree.
How would you say the cultures of the downtown versus Windermere compare? Are they kind of same or different?
I think they are, well, we're very competitive. Jeff we get on these texting wars where he'll send me like banana muffins. He's like, look what my baker made today. So we roll out turtles. I'm like, look what my baker made today.
That's
so
awesome.
we have competitions over baking, but their staff, his staff is amazing. The team there is amazing. Jeff worked with me at the 104th Street location for about 9 months. Yeah. So he really probably had no choice but to adapt to that sort of culture and get it, learn it, live it. I'm like, this is the same. And I think he knew it was beneficial, to manage a certain way or to be a certain way or to embrace people a certain way. I feel like maybe he knew that would be a good thing moving forward. So I think he adapted a lot of the same things, and that helped him with his team moving forward. I think they have a great time over there. Mm-hmm. I think they're very similar. We keep meaning to do these like team bonding things between two locations.
I think you should.
Yeah.
One
big
thing
parties.
that popped into my head, just like seeing all the stuff on the Instagram and just the different personalities, like I think everybody is like a good like fun actor kind of thing in a good way. You should have like an improv competition, but mix up the two stories.
I like that.
So that they have to work together, and then they can kind of play off each other's personalities and really get to know each other.
Totally. All right.
So I just made up.
I like that. Yeah. Come facilitate it. I would love that. Yes.
I'd be willing to.
Okay. Let's talk about that. Seriously, yeah.
But yeah, like I think team building is important. Like even because I've teamed up with Kelly and Emily, and we try and like keep a group chat going. We share funny jokes. We say hi to each other around the gym, because obviously we have like varying sessions. Like sometimes we'll see each other in the day, sometimes we won't. But always just like a silly, goofy wave.
Totally. Yeah.
Because it helps with your mental state. Like if you have like this in-person connection, and if you're able to be like vulnerable with the other people, like, hey, like I don't really have that much client sessions right now, then you can sort of support each other through like how can we showcase your best qualities in the best way, kind of thing. So true. And so I always like, doesn't matter what team I'm on, I'm like, we need more team building activities. Because people are going to be leaning on each other at some point. Like your baker might have something horrible happen, and then they're going to lean on the people that they see the most. And so the closer the bond is, the better.
Yeah.
So whenever
No.
you're ready for like theater
For
sports,
improv, okay,
I'll
I'm
be
gonna
there.
hit you up for that. You just wait. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not like a pro, but I can sure organize something.
Give us a little bit of direction.
Yeah, totally. For
I love
sure.
it though, and I think the staff would be all over that.
Yeah.
They love that. Yeah.
So we're drawing this to a close, and I have to ask you the question that I ask all of my guests. If you had one piece of advice to give to someone on how to live their most authentic life to the fullest extent, what would that piece of advice be?
Well, maybe I feel like it sounds cliche, but just follow your knower, your gut, your heart. I do business with my gut and heart, and it works for me. Mm-hmm. Maybe it works for everybody. Maybe people need to do more business with their gut and their heart. But sometimes I'm like, oh, I have to think about the business, like the logic side of things. But I think just be genuine, be yourself more than anything. So I won't be one person and not to the next. Like, I mean, you'll get the same me with everybody, from a very new employee to the experienced employee to the manager to customers to, I manage the Instagram, and people know it's still me. I had somebody else do it for a while, and they're like, "Are you not managing it?" I think you just, because they know I'm very, they know how I'm going to word things. I'm going to be a bit riskier than maybe the girl that's working for me. But so be yourself, be authentic, but trust your gut, and your heart, and that little like, I don't know if I should, just go with it.
Yeah.
I'm not always right when that happens, but
lots of people aren't always right.
But I go with it, and then I learn from it.
Yeah.
And I don't think I want. I'm not here to just smooth sail through life. I fully respect and understand the challenges I get, and I want to attract to a certain degree those kinds of things in my life, so that I can grow and learn from it. So
that's important. I think that's a sentiment that a lot of people could adopt, and a lot of people are going to agree with. Mm-hmm. So thanks for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Catch you next time.
See you.